Sorry guys, you won't be able to see shit, but I'm driving home and it is 05:23, 5:23 a.m. and I'm fucking bored. These guys keep on flashing their fucking lights at me. I don't have my brights on, asshole. Fucking assholes. Blinding me, then I can't see the fucking deer on the side of the road. Anyways, I want to talk about these fucking... I don't understand a lot of... So recently we had a lot of switching. Alright, you have some people who are dedicated fucking Xbox fans. And what I don't understand is you went through the whole fucking Don Mattrick era. The whole Don Mattrick era, the whole beginning of Xbox One. The fucking darkest fucking times of Xbox. You knew what was happening. And I know a lot of these guys have insiders. They talk to people. They know people. Like Crap Gamer fucking outed some PlayStation 4 stuff way before anybody else. And they know shit. Don't fucking pretend like they don't. They do. Like Dealer knows shit, and fucking and a lot of these guys know a lot of shit. Now Dealer never fucking flipped. He's always been kind of had his fucking self grounded into games, and was never completely fucking like insanely one side. Wow, it is really foggy. But if you're gonna pick a side and you're gonna slog through the Don Mattrick era of Xbox and you're gonna still support it, and then Phil Spencer comes in and you know goddamn well what's happening at Xbox. Phil Spencer finally fucking becomes a leader in fucking Microsoft. Everybody knows that shit's about to change. Then they start buying a bunch of companies, and then you decide, just as shit's about to get really fucking awesome, to flip sides. Now, I've never had this issue, right? I'm an Xbox fan. I have been an Xbox fan since the announcement of the Xbox. Why? Because for those of you who don't know, I was a Sega fanboy as a child and as a fucking young man, and I had a Super Nintendo, mostly for Final Fantasy. But anyways, I had a Genesis. I didn't get the Saturn. I got the PlayStation. Basically, the Saturn was dead on arrival. I'm not fucking stupid. Even back then, I saw the writing on the walls, right? Like, so I went to PlayStation, and I became a big fan of fucking Sony. Big, huge fan of fucking PlayStation. I had so many PS1 games. And I was in the Marine Corps, and I had a lot of disposable income. You know, because I had no fucking rent. I had nothing like that. So anyways, I had hundreds of PlayStation games. I brought my PlayStation to fucking my school. I threw it in my duffel bag, like in between a whole bunch of shit. And so I had a PlayStation. Nobody else had a PlayStation at fucking 29 Palms. So we were playing a lot of fucking games at 29 Palms, and I was the only one who had fucking a video game console for a while. Then a lot of people like had their shit mailed to them and whatnot. But anyways, I had a ton of PlayStation games, and I used to hardcore, like, people would be like, should I buy an N64 or PlayStation? I'm like, that is not even a choice. I was hardcore PlayStation. I thought Nintendo made a huge mistake going with cartridges And so I was a big proponent of Sony's PlayStation. But I've always been a fan of Sega. So back in 1997, I believe it either late 97, 98. I can't remember off the top of my... Oh, here's a bunch of deer. There's a bunch of deer. Make sure there's no more coming across. No more coming across. So I was a big proponent of PlayStation. Then Sega announced the Dreamcast. And on Sega.com, basically the front page was a forum. I don't know how many of you remember this. I'm 39 years old, so I remember this shit. In fact, I can remember the first time I saw the fucking shit that Sony did. I was in a Unix class, learning to use Unix, fucking how to install it, how to use it, all the commands. And since DOS is basically a stripped down, the commands in DOS were basically a stripped down version of Unix. It wasn't that hard. So anyways, I remember being in Unix class, and I'd finished up all my shit, because a lot of people, not everyone, we had some fucking hardcore people, but a lot of people, this was the first time that they'd ever used any kind of real command line. Because in school it was basically Windows 95, and they taught us how to install Windows 95. They showed us how to upgrade Windows 95 with an upgrade CD without actually fucking upgrading. So all we needed was a couple files, but that kind of shit's long gone. So anyways, Windows 95 is what most people know how to use. Hardly anybody had a strong understanding of command lines. But I did, because I'd been messing with computers since DOS 3.0, all the way to DOS 6.22. So I had a pretty strong background, and at least the command structures for DOS, a lot of them. And Unix is basically a bloated version of that. There was some server-side commands, of course, that mattered, that I was learning. But basically, I set up my shit, and way before anybody else set up theirs. And so I'd go on Sega.com, and not through Unix, but I had a laptop I worked on that I brought to work with. And I'd use that laptop to connect to the fucking internet, and I'd be on there on my lunch break and whatnot, and I'd get on there, and I'd go to Sega.com, and I'd be on the forums, and I've got a lot of these people still on my friends list. But anyways, Sega.com. So anyways, I would get on there, and I'd talk on there, and we'd be all excited about the Dreamcast. And then Sony announced the PlayStation 2. And what happened was they were hiring people, and I know this is probably something that it's been replaced by like a community manager or whatever. But I'm at home, so don't worry about me crashing or anything. So anyways, Sony was hiring people to go on Sega's forums and basically lie about the PlayStation 2. They were lying in public too. I remember a GameSpot article where Kim Kutaragi said that playing on the PlayStation 2 online, something they didn't have any kind of coherent online structure, not even the plan for a structure. I mean, Sega had the plan, at least, for Sega.net, right? So there was no plan, no structure. They had nothing. They were just lying through their fucking teeth. They said it would be like jacking into the Matrix, But they came on to the Sega.com, and the whole thing, the whole website was a forum. And they hired people to go on there and lie about the product. And they lied to all these people, and these people that were excited and happy to support this Sega's new console, and they lied to them, and they were trying to kill the hype, and they did this over and over again, even after it got shut down, the front page forum, and moved into its proper site and had a proper web page. We created these. Microsoft used to have these like mini web pages. They were basically it was basically Facebook before Facebook. And you'd have these groups, only it was miniature. So you'd invite these people to your little MSN page, right? And sorry, I got a chest cold, I guess. And they'd invite all these people over. I invited a ton of the Sega guys that I made friends with, came over to this chat group that we made, and forum. It was like a chat/forum, and anyways, we chatted for a long time. But they were sending people into people's fucking pages and shit, and they were on GameSpot. I remember GameSpot was really huge back then. They were on GameSpot fucking talking mad shit, fucking lying through their teeth. Somebody hired these fucking people. So I had a really bad impression of the PlayStation 2, which probably helped me switch over completely from Dreamcast to Xbox, and I completely ignored the PlayStation 2 until Metal Gear Solid 3. When I picked up the PlayStation, of course, Metal Gear Solid 2 was on the Xbox. The OG Xbox, if you remember. But Metal Gear Solid 3 was PlayStation 2 only, so I bought a PlayStation 2 used from a truck driver. He even had the hard drive in the setup. And I actually got Final Fantasy 11 and played that on my PlayStation 2 before getting it on my Xbox 360. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. So I switched completely from PlayStation. I didn't really have anything to do with Sony, and they pissed me off for a long time. I really didn't want anything to do with them, and the PlayStation 3 kind of threw me off. It was the same shit I heard on the PlayStation 2. Somehow people just ignored all that shit. But when they did it again for the PlayStation 3. Only their price was out of control, and people were like, "What? Work a second job? You know, F you." And Microsoft picked up a big bunch of people that way, but that's so I'll always have a slight bias against Sony because of that. It's always a slight. It's not as bad because I feel like Ken Kutaragi was the big negative problem within the PlayStation structure as a whole, and when he left, I felt like that the PlayStation went in a much more positive direction, and you didn't see the crazy shit. And they did crazy shit when the PlayStation 3 first started. It was nuts. Ken Kutaragi went away, and a lot of that stuff fixed itself. So it feels like a lot. It's hard to let go of the people who made it, right? Ken Kutaragi made the PlayStation, but he lost what it meant for the PlayStation with the PlayStation 2, and then he took the problems the PlayStation 2 had programming wise, and he went and he created the PlayStation 3 and increased the complexity to the point where basically the only massively good-looking games on the PlayStation 3 was Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 4, and then Sony's first-party studios. Because it was that fucking hard to really ring out the place. And that CPU was extremely powerful, but I mean, that's a lot of time to waste on dealing with that. So anyways, you understand why I have a slight bias against Sony, and I feel like Xbox is basically Microsoft created, because originally They wanted Sega to brand. They wanted Sega to release the Xbox overseas, and because they felt like Sega had the recognition, Sega said no. And I think that might have been Sega's biggest mistake. They should have said yes, released it as the Dreamcast 2 in Japan and in Asia, and maybe, well, Europe maybe, and then it would be Xbox in the West, Dreamcast in the East, and Sega would have been basically Xbox. It would have been basically Sega would have been Xbox over there, and I felt like if Microsoft and Sega had made that deal, the Xbox would be more popular overseas, especially in Asia, and then the cats are ready to eat. I gotta go feed the cats. And Microsoft would be in a better position. But I feel like Microsoft was making good steps all the way up until they hired Don Mattrick. And what I thought was hilarious was EA wouldn't allow their games on Xbox Live because they wanted the servers, right? And originally, nobody got fucking live servers except for Microsoft. They ran all the live servers, and shit ran a lot smoother when Microsoft was the only one with live servers. Now everybody's got their own live servers. It's not as bad now since Microsoft, I think, retains all control of their live servers now. But it used to be that, EA had their own servers, and then other people wanted their own server, and that was just fucking a recipe for disaster. So Don Mattrick didn't even want them to fucking talk to EA. He didn't want EA. He didn't want them to spit anything to the company. He was originally going to block them from talking. And then that guy comes over, and he's the head of Microsoft, and he fucking fires the entire team that put Xbox 360 on the map. The entire fucking team. The only one who survived was Major Nelson. So all of the people that fucking talk to people online, that communicated with fans, all those people, gone. I thought that was a big mistake, and it went downhill from there. It went downhill because if you remember, there was a lot of new IPs coming out for the Xbox 360. Microsoft was doing new, interesting things, and then Don Mattrick comes in, and Kinect. If Kinect never happens, we're not where we're at. But Kinect happens, and he goes all in to Kinect. And I believe at one time streaming Netflix was more people streamed Netflix than played games on the 360. And what they didn't realize, and what he took that to think, people want this as their entertainment center. And yeah, that's a nice secondary feature. And he lost vision, and I know that there was probably a lot of people in Xbox, and it was hinted at, and I believe Phil has hinted at this, that it was difficult for a lot of people in Xbox to deal with that transition, and people, the focus on gaming was lost. If you make a great gaming console, the apps are secondary, but they'll work. And whereas the 360, they made a big bet on 512 megabytes of RAM. On the Xbox, they made a big bet on Kinect, when Kinect should have always been sold separately. And I love Kinect. And it really disappoints me that Microsoft forced it on us. I loved it. It didn't bother me because I felt like Kinect was a part of something that I wanted, right? Walking into the room, sitting down, and being logged in. I really missed that because I have a 1X and I don't have the adapter. I'd hook it up in a fucking second if I had the adapter. Walking in, getting logged in, all the cool stuff that comes with it. Now you can use your Alexa or your Google Assistant to log in or to do that kind of stuff. All the commands are still there. But it's easier if you have a Kinect. You just use the Xbox commands, and it's great. And you can still launch all your stuff that way. Anyways, these cats are really getting upset. You see these people who flip sides. I'd gotten way away from what I was talking about. And it confuses me. You as a fan, and a lot of them were really big fans. You flip sides. Some of them have completely flipped over. Right when shit was being fixed. Right when they announced we are started, right? We are starting. And now you got people that look stupid, right? They're like, Xbox has no games, which is fucking a dumb fucking thing to say. Anyways, but it's just fucking, it blows my mind that they were there. They were there through all the fucking tough times. And then, just as things were about to flip, just as things flipped over, and you could see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it wasn't like, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel and it's shaped like Phil Spencer. I see the light at the end of the tunnel and it's shaped like Oblivion. Or it's shaped like Outer Worlds. It's shaped like Fable. It's shaped like Double Fine. It's shaped all these fucking companies they bought. And all these games these companies are going to put out. And now, just as things are about to flip, just as things are about to fucking go in a direction you've been pounding on, you've been asking for, you decide that, fuck it, I'm going to flip sides. And it makes no fucking sense to me. And maybe there's not that kind of in your brain, right? You're like, you don't really like, you don't dislike Sony, so it's not hard for you to just flip over, right? Even if you're hardcore, maybe you were a big PlayStation 2 fan, right? And you jumped on the Xbox 360 bandwagon, so you've basically only been a fan of Xbox for a generation and a quarter and a half or whatever. But it just blows my mind that you could make it through all the horrible fucking times. And there was some good in between there. To watch fucking games that looked really cool get canceled. To see Fable canceled, to see Fable, the Lionhead get shut down, to watch all this bad happening, to see Microsoft go through this transitionary period, specifically when their fucking CEO comes up to them and says, I can see us not having games, not being involved in gaming. And then you got to be like, all right, if we're going to do this, we're going all in. And then you saw that first kind of, all right, we're going to do this when they bought Minecraft. And then people got upset about them being involved in Windows. Like, why would Microsoft not support? I got to feed these fucking cats. They might break into this car and kill me. I got to feed the dogs too. Oh, here's some light. The lights. Sorry for the darkness, people. And there's going to be some more darkness. I know. So I don't understand what people are thinking. More lights. Bright ass LEDs. Yeah, I know. All right. Anyways, that's where I work. They gave me a shirt for Christmas. Near. You come around. I ain't seen you in like a week. I ain't seen her in a week. And then she comes around asking for some food. Been gone for, this is my house. What I don't understand is, you see where you used to have a little thing over to, if you look down there, let me go down, get out of the way. If you look down there, it's hard to see. There's a gap, and what happens is, when it rains real hard, and the rain's coming towards me, right, it gets underneath my door. And this is, you can't, you see where it's all fucked up? See where it's all fucked up? So, sorry about that. I don't understand, one, why I've got to fucking replace that, but I bought the home. I knew it was fucked up. The wind fucking caught it and fucked it up even more. But anyways, this is what I'm saying. If you're a fan of something, and you're going through, and your company's making mistakes, and they're going to do it. Every company's going to go through hard times. Think about how bad Microsoft is doing. Windows Vista. Then they got it right with 7. Then they did 8. And you're like, what the fuck are you doing, Microsoft? So they were basically screwing up constantly. 8. I liked 8 personally. Let me dump that out. So then they put out 10, and you're like, oh, they're back. They got their fucking shit together. So I'm pouring out some dog food for my other dogs. Sorry about that. Anyways, they get their shit together, and now you're fucking gonna leave. I just don't understand it. If you're a fan of a fucking company, whatever company that is, think of all the people, think of all the PlayStation fans who went through PlayStation 3 era, and that was fucking bad until the end. I mean, they had Metal Gear Solid for 4 and some fucking, let's be honest, the first party games were mostly meh. Uncharted was pretty good for its time, but and Uncharted 2 was really good, and then 3 was kind of not quite as good. I wonder if there's the other one. Oh, you got a whole bunch. I gave them all 8 cups. Because I didn't get to them. I was supposed to give them work before I eat. Eat. Oh, the good doggy. Good doggy. One dog short. Passed away. For those you don't know, mother dog guarded my back door. I'm going to have to graduate one of these dogs to my back door, but all 3 of them try and kill my cats. Sunny was a good dog. She was a good doggy. Anyways, if you're a fan of a company, because they did good shit, and they mess up, and either you need to fucking drop that company, or immediately. You don't fucking, you don't stick it through the hard shit, right? And when shit fucking gets fixed, just drop. That's not how this fucking fan shit works. If you're a fan and it means fanatic, and you make it through the hard shit, and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then you're like, fuck this shit, right? Why were you ever a fan? I don't understand. Why were you ever a fan? To me, you just a bitch. And that's with that, I'm signing off. And that's for all of you. No matter what the fuck you're talking about. If you left Sony right as fucking The Last of Us and Uncharted was starting to really pick up, you're a bitch. That's how I feel about it, man. And I don't know what else to say about it. It is what it is. And I'm at 30 minutes, man. This is fucking crazy. And most of it's in the dark. You can't see shit. And you listen to me feed my dogs. But that's the way it is sometimes. Alright, guys. Peace out. And if you pull that shit, you're a bitch. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. See.